Hey, welcome to the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. This is the show you're going to find on these or any other airwaves where we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of our folks, but we fight it with freedom music. Freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Where we jazz, we give you all that soulful hip hop, R&B, jazz, soca, rock and roll, whatever melanated art form we can find to remove the stress from your chest. That's what we're going to do on the Real HD Show during our freedom music moment. Right now, we're getting ready to have a dynamic interview. But before we do that, let's pay some bills. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, turning on your comments, and turning on your notifications. So every time we have a higher discussion show, you guys can rock with us and have one. That is a higher discussion. Total Package Energy. Make sure you mob their website, All Natural Company. Melanated folks own this. Olympic tested, people approved. Make sure you get those waters, zips, teas, juices, all the things that you need to give you a battery in your back. Because some of us have a second half to our day. Some of us have kids, a second job, whatever's going on, and you need that particular piece. Let's go to Bats Footwear straight out of the NOLA. Revolutionary soul technology made for your feet. Bats technology support. And also make sure you, if you're in the Rochester area, make sure you check out Black House for all your art and cultural needs. I know they have an event going on this weekend. It's usually fire over there. They do karaoke, they do open mics, they do, kind of indie jams. So get over there and make sure you are patronizing those good people and everything they got going so you could get all your art and cultural needs from Black House. Right now, we got a dynamic. We have a super multifaceted businesswoman in the building. And in the spirit of Ujima Ujama Cooperative Economics, we want to support her business. We're going to give her a full interview. We're going to bring her to the stage. None other than businesswoman extraordinaire, Stephanie
Good
Grant.
evening. How you
Welcome
doing?
to the Real HD Show.
Hi, good evening. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, great. How are you? We just
Oh,
gonna we
I'm
just want
doing
to give you
good.
a little we want to give you a little hand clap, introduce you, bring you in the right way.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know you've been waiting a while, so we're gonna bring everybody back up that was on backstage waiting. So if you're up and you were backstage waiting, we're gonna bring you on now. And since we are finally featuring the great sister and her great works, um, so you're multifaceted. Your cuz Luck told me a lot about you. Told me that you would be a worthwhile interview, and we had a conversation about the great things that you do. And I guess I'll let you lead it. Which one of these do you want to lead with first in
Um,
of your dynamic wares? And let's talk about your journey on how you got started with whichever business you want to talk about first.
okay, I'll start with the spa.
Okay.
It's Put Your Woman First, Yoni and Spa Services, and we're located in Chesapeake, Virginia. I got started with the spa. Honestly, one day I went out, I was out, I think at the flea market, and there was a young lady that was actually providing those type of services at the flea market. And I just said to myself, as queens, we just deserve a little bit more far as ambiance and things of that nature goes. So got off the flight coming from Vegas, went to look at some businesses and started working.
Fire, fire.
Nice, nice.
So what made you want to move in that direction? What was the impetus? What was your motivation for getting involved in a business like this?
It was for women such as myself to feel a little bit more comfortable when steaming, to make sure that they had the proper knowledge behind steaming, and just to offer them a more relaxing place.
Mm,
Okay, okay, okay. So what
beautiful.
if someone doesn't know anything about steaming? What would be the overall benefits to steaming that most people aren't aware of?
It helps with fatigue, headaches, PMS symptoms, fibroids, fertility, um, and the list goes on. It depends on the herbs that you're using and what you're actually trying to detect at that time. And it also is just a generalized deep cleaning. If you're spiritual, it also just generally detoxifies the body itself.
Dope, dope. So along with your intermittent fast or whatever fast you're on, you can do this as well to kind
Yes,
of
and for a lot of
reduce.
women, we might have like the PMS things or fibroids or heavy bleeding and things of that nature. So it really helps suppress them things. So if you do a steam prior to you having your menstrual, it will help with the fatigue. It will help with the headaches. It will help with the heavy bleeding or the bloatness.
Oh, nice. So that, all right. So if I'm understanding correctly, this can be almost like a solve for people trying to stave off the pain of their menstrual cycle.
Yes,
Steaming.
absolutely. It is.
Okay.
It's actually supposed to be like a prevention. So it's supposed to have you do it prior to the menstrual coming on. The same thing with
Mm,
people that have reoccurring UTI or BV. The
right.
same thing with that. If you steam prior, you won't get them as much. Even though if it's recurring and this is someone that you kind of if you're someone that's prone to them, you won't get them as often if you follow a regimen with steaming.
Okay. All right. All right.
Mm,
Awesome. So
mm.
what else are there, and other benefits that steaming is that the only product that you offer, or are there other
We
products
do
that
the
you offer
steams.
in alignment?
We do foot detox, which takes out all the toxins and heavy metals out of the body.
Okay.
A lot of
Nice.
times, the things that we eat, we're ordering into our bodies. So this is a way for us to break down some of that things and release. So foot detoxes are also beneficial. We offer, of course, massages. That's just a relaxing nature, deep muscle massages and things like that. And then we also include aromatherapy, which a lot of times just includes maybe lighting the incense, two glasses of wine, maybe affirmation music, or just something soft and whatever you're into at that time. We like to call that aromatherapy.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Because we was just on with another one of your cousins who does the candles, and we got into a heavy conversation about the health benefits of aromatherapy within her wheelhouse. And now we're back on with you. Do you feel like whoever comes for your yoni services enjoys the services for how it makes them feel, not just the medicinal qualities of it?
Yes, yes. I actually had a couple of different experiences with a young lady that came in. I'm pretty traumatized. It's also it helps like release soul ties. So I had a lot of people that came in
Mm,
traumatized, or they just maybe going through something at that time, and after had a steam, they actually felt a bigger release. Um, they came in, they feel more, just more free down there itself. It don't feel as tight anymore. And this came from their reviews. They didn't feel as tight anymore. They just felt released. Or they overall just felt calmer. They didn't have any anxiety and any. They wasn't suffering from any anxiety at that time. So it just gave them an overall great feeling.
okay, okay, okay. Awesome, awesome.
Nice.
So I have a little bit of familiarity with your services, not individually, but people who do what you do. And my wife was in a sisterhood circle in um, in New York called Smatawi, and they used to practice everything that you're doing, but they did it more from a spiritual standpoint. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about womb work and all of those sorts of things. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what they actually did because it was all sisters in that.
Yeah,
My wife
that's a
and
secret society sessions going on there.
right, they had that secret
Queen of
society
Four.
piece popping. They
And a
can't.
lot of women, when they doing
Mhm.
like womb work itself, it's just to release whatever
Right,
may be
Mm,
stored in there. Again, that's soul ties, that's the frustration, anxiety, trauma. All
right,
of that is supposed to be a release.
right,
mm,
right.
mm.
So I'm a little familiar with where you're going with this. Do you get a lot of business from brothers? Do brothers want to steam?
Um, I I get a lot of business from brothers. However, they're more so
What
They're
are they
they're
interested in? What services do you provide that they might be interested in?
foot detox.
Okay, foot detox. Dope, dope. I can feel you on that.
So a lot of times we also offer couples night. So the women may steam and the men might
Ah,
just have a foot detox.
okay. Hot, hot, dope. See, I heard it first here, y'all. Couples night. Go get your detox on. Go get your steam on. Come out fresh dressed, feeling like $1,000,000.
Yes.
Let's go to your website real quick and let's see. And if you could walk us through what we're looking at and some of the more highlight some of the things that you'd like for the people to know about your services. Um, we can get right to that. All right, so we're on it, and I'm showing a picture of you right here. Um, when talk to us about the founding and a little bit about what were your overall goals for creating your business?
My overall goal for creating a business was just to have women come to a safe space where they
Hmm.
felt like they were able to come here, release whatever they needed to release with no judge zone at all. And I say that because I get a
Mm.
lot of women that come in there and they vent to me. I have one lady that drives down an hour just to journal. She doesn't steam, she just comes in the space to journal.
Wow.
It's the ambiance, it's the sanctuary in there. It's just, it gives it the relaxed feeling, and that's what I was aiming for. I was aiming for a relaxed feeling. A lot of times when we go out as women, we have a lot of, men in our ear trying to speak with us. So it's always a turn up. So I was looking for a space where ladies could come and just relax, even as a group. So we offer group night, girls' nights, we offer girls' day, bachelor's parties, you birthday parties, whatever you want to do. We offer that. And I just wanted a space where women could come, relax, and just talk, have girls talk without interruptions and being judged.
Okay, very good, very good. So let's look at some of your services. Escape away with the intimate spa experience to help you relax. You got to book your appointment. Talk to us about the yoni. We talked about it real quick, but you can, I guess, fill in the gaps for what we don't know about your yoni and your V steam rejuvenation from the yoni out. Talk to us about that.
So as I explained, it helps with all of the different things that I've named. It's very beneficial. So when you're sitting, me and my husband actually made those chairs. So those chairs are handmade chairs.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
My husband made
Wow,
them and I
impressive.
covered them. Yeah, we actually have a big story behind that. I was going through someone that made them chairs out of Michigan. We sent
Mm.
her almost about $2,500 and she ended up sticking us. So we got
Oh,
scammed. I cried like a baby. My husband said, I
oh,
think I can do it. And he delivered.
Oh
so
wow, that's awesome.
yeah, he
wow.
made the chairs. I covered the chairs, and that's how the business got started.
That is
Fire,
so
fire.
fresh.
So
What a
it's a lot of
story.
love into the building. That's why I said I wish I would have steamed from the spa because there's a lot of love in there. There was a lot of work that we, myself and my husband, put in just to get it where it's at today, just to make it comfortable for the women and
And
for the
you find
men.
you find your price point gets a good response from people.
I'm actually one of the lowest within my region. So
Okay.
I keep my prices the same, and I also run a lot of specials. So we do a lot of Valentine's Day specials, Mother's Day specials, and then I have rewards points for
Hmm.
my consistent steamers.
Okay. Okay. So next up we're looking at, I think we're looking at body massage, a full body healing experience. Talk to us about this.
So I provide a full body or half a body. So of course the half a body would just be back. The full body is the whole body, the feet, the arms, the legs. I'm massaging everything. I'm utilizing infused oils, which is like lavender, and then they have mix of herbs in it, just to give you that overall relaxed feeling.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
Dope.
Okay.
Dope.
Okay. And that can be had by men, women, or kids, or
Yes, I
kind
don't
of
really service kids, but men and women,
adult
yes.
heavy. What? Okay, so kids
Oh,
are allowed to.
so you
If
service men too.
if I
That's
do
dope.
kids, it would probably be for a foot detox, but I do require everyone to be 18 and over for a steam.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So what are we looking at here? Body contouring. Talk to us about that.
So I also do laser lipo. and cavitated stuff. So I do the red light special as well. So right here, this young lady was getting laser lipo on her stomach and back. And then
Okay.
I was doing the red light RV, which helps shrink the fat as well. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm doing right there.
Okay.
So and laser lipo is shrinking the fat. It's just another alternative. Some women do not want to go through surgery. So this is
Mhm.
another alternative that you can take instead of going through surgery. It's non-invasive.
Okay. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wow.
Is that more of a STEM technique, or are you using actually kind of UV, or like what's happening there?
Yes, I'm using UV as well as the UV light when I'm doing it. So it's shrinking all of the fat cells.
Okay. 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 So how do you find when if you combine doing something like this along with the plant-based diet, along with intermittent fasting? Has anybody told you their results? Have any of your customers uh purported that they were doing something to that degree, and
Yes,
how
and I'm
does
also
your
a candidate as well. And to be completely honest, you have to eat right. You have to exercise. You have
Mm,
to do what's needed to maintain it. If you don't
okay.
maintain it, just like with anything, you lose it. Just like if you have surgery, if you don't maintain the surgery, you're not going to have the same effect that you had when you first got it. The results are not going to be the same. That's the same thing with laser. The only difference with the laser that it really shrinks the fat cells, so the fat wouldn't come back in the same pockets.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So talk to us about this additioning body contouring options.
So
Skin.
they can add on skin tightening, which is tightening
Mhm.
up the muscles in the skin, like for the flabby areas in the arms. They can do thighs, they can do the neck, they can do whatever they choose to do, any other body part, and we just add on to that.
Yeah, they was. I see here that you can have a combination.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we can get a three-piece and a biscuit with this. What we doing?
Yeah, so a lot of women come in and they might want a 360 laser and then they might want to add on their arms. So with
Okay.
that, that's what I would do. I would do an add-on services and I would just give them a
Okay.
price based off of what they want. But no price is the same because everybody body fat is different.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So what you might need taken off, the next person might not.
Okay.
Mm.
What your results, what your desired results is, it may not be the next person desired results.
Okay, so foot detox and soak release. So is this just putting your feet in the water with a herb, or you got the fish out? What we talking about with the foot
Oh
detox?
no. So my tablets
Ha.
come my tablets come strictly from China. Oh, and I meant
Uh-huh.
to add as well, my herbs come strictly from Dubai, just to put that out there. But my tablets do come from China and they are really ginger detox tablets. So with that, you put that in the basin with the water, you add some infused oil, and if you want to add some herbs or cucumbers, which actually helps blood flow, you can add them things in the packet as well, and it will do what it needs to do.
Nice, nice. And you get great results from this. What do your customers think about your foot detox as a result of
They'd
getting
be
it?
really surprised just to see the change of the water because these are not iconic machines.
Hmm.
My machines are not iconic machines at all, so we don't use those. I'm using real life detoxified herbs and tablets. So when they first putting their stuff, they feet in the basin and they just seeing the clear water, but then afterwards, and they seeing how sticky or how dirty the water is, they're
Mhm.
really happy about those results. Just to know that some things came out their body.
Okay, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Do they feel lighter and more
Yes,
energetic?
very light on their feet. And it also comes with like the soft body massage. So I'm also massaging them down while they're foot detoxing. And then by the time they get up, they're very light on their feet. So I always encourage everyone to drink some water. After we detox the feet, we do mask the foot back up just because you did lose a lot of nutrients when you detox.
Correct. 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 So electrolytes must be important in that situation. And then of
Yes.
course I guess I would gather through your hospitality that you would offer something like that. Talk to me about this aromatherapy and light massage. You mentioned it some of it before, but it says breath,
Yes. So we do a light
breathe,
massage.
meditate, refocus your week. Go ahead.
Yes, so we do a light massage for those that's steaming or doing a foot detox, and that just
Mhm.
consists of cucumbers on the eyes, a soft body massage from the arms down, the back of the neck because that's a pressure point. A lot of people, and I've learned this from my mom when she was in school doing her theses, that she had got a really big knot on the back of her neck, and that came from stress. So a lot of times when I'm in the spa, that's my main focus is that back of the neck because you hoard so much stress in the body and it causes knots. And we don't know that. So with that, that's my focus.
Mm.
And then I also provide them with 2 glasses of wine or mimosa.
I'm sure.
Yo,
I'm sure the ladies love to make
boy, oh boy.
a girlfriend's meet out of that, or
Oh
a
yes. And then we
brunch,
add the little
or
strawberries to the cup and so forth. So it's really
yeah,
nice.
I can see that all day.
Oh, there it
Cuz
is.
is about it. Cuz is about it,
Let
boy.
us
That's what I'm
cater
talking
to
about.
you and your
That's
guests on
right.
your special event. So tell them some of the special events that you guys cover, and
um
what they can get out of your business if they're looking for something not on the beaten path. What are we talking about here?
Okay, so we do couples night, we do girls night. We can service up to 6 people at a time. We do group like girls day. If you just want to come out with your girls during the day, a lot of people would do that, and then they'll have lunch and stuff afterwards. We also will provide hors d'oeuvres if you request it. We can do finger foods, fruit trays, crackers and cheese, little light things just to keep the stuff going within the spa. You get your choice of music. So again, whether it's affirmation, R&B, slow jams, gospel, whatever your liking is what we provide. Because we have a Google, so you say, "Hey Google," and you put on whatever you want to put on. Um, and that's pretty much it. We do bachelorettes parties. Whatever the occasion is, we just have people come and book.
Nice, nice. Nice. So, of course, down here, all the contact informations for Put Your Woman First, Yoni and Spa Services. So, we are back fully on the
Wait, you got to
show.
go back to the shop. You didn't show the shop.
Oh, I didn't? I'm sorry.
You didn't do the waist trainers and stuff.
Okay, so let's do
Oh
that.
yeah.
That's not a problem. Please guide me to where you want to go with
That's
this.
on the website.
Okay, let's go. So tell me where. I'm going back to the top. Where am I
Yeah, so
going
go to
back to?
shop.
Shop.
And these are our products as well.
Okay.
We have bras, waist trainers, fitness apparel, and some clothing that kind of contours the shape where you don't have to wear any undergarments underneath it. So you will
Okay.
not
Okay.
need a shaper underneath your dress. You can wear the
Okay.
dress because it's already shaped.
I'm sure this is a popular item with the ladies, right?
Oh yeah, well my waist trainers are the most popular.
Okay. Okay. So I see here you have the bras, and does that help women who are like very well endowed and give them support and all that good stuff that they would need?
Yes, and it also helps with back fat. So for some of us that have them
Mm.
rolls back there, and you want to wear a nice little, it really contours the back and makes it flat back there, so you don't have any bulging.
Okay. Okay. Here's some more. Can you describe what we're looking at here?
Which one are we looking at? The two-piece outfit or
Well,
this one?
I just went past the first row. Now I'm on the second row.
Okay,
Uh,
so those are some shapewears as well. The two-piece outfit, that's actually an actual outfit that you can work out in, or you can wear outside. I have a couple of colors that I wear outside to brand my brand. But they're very comfortable and excellent quality, very thick and nice quality. The next one is a one piece. That's an outfit that you can wear outside or work out in. And then the last one is a waist trainer. We also have that in all black. And that's one of my top sellers.
okay, awesome. Let me see what else we got here. We got more going. Talk to us about these.
Same thing. A lot of those are just different waist trainers, things that
Hmm.
can help contour the shape. What you see right, the second one is a back pad. So you put that inside the thigh high or inside your waist trainer to contour that back to push your back out to give you that,
Oh,
yeah, that
you know what I
hump in the
thought that
back.
was at first? You know what I thought that was at first? I thought that was like, well, I'm gonna be a man right here. you know how women start to get pain in their abdominal area when they're getting ready to menstruate or while
Right.
they're menstruating. I thought that was more like a heating or a cooling pad that could be
Oh no, it's
applied to.
compression. It's just extra compression, so you can put it
That's
in the front
extra
or the back.
compression.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's extra compression.
Okay.
And a lot of times, women use that after they finish surgery, just so they can compress their stomachs and stuff.
Okay. 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 Very good. Very cool. Very cool. View more. Let's view some more. This is the last of it I'm gathering.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Talk
those
to
again is outfits. That's a
hmm
dress, and the other one's a two-piece outfit. Oh no, that's the butt cup. The other one was the stomach one. But that's a dress. And again, with that dress, you don't have to wear any shapers underneath it because it's already made with the shaper.
Okay,
Wow.
awesome. So have you had your Paris or your New York Fashion Week runway display with all your fashions popping?
No, not yet. Manifest, manifest.
Yeah, we got to do that. We got to do that. Real quickly for you, anybody else want to jump in with any love, acknowledgments, comments, or concerns for the good sister Stephanie Grant and her uh, yoni steaming business and everything in the very multifaceted way that it's presented? Talk to us.
I
Anybody can
like I
jump
said,
in.
like I said before, man,
Mm-hmm.
what I love is, it's crazy. I'm catching up with my cousins, Vic. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my
Right.
homework and catching up with my cousins, man. I owe them that time, you know what I mean? And what
Absolutely.
I love is that I had to acknowledge them today, and I said, I am humbly proud of them. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I don't mean like in a way where it's like, oh, I'm proud of you. I mean like I'm truly, humbly, I'm very proud of them. You know what I mean? Because they're continuing the legacy of my grandfather. You know,
Mm.
my grandfather in Trinidad in Aruca Paul village was the first drugstore to open up in that neighborhood for a
Oh,
long
fire.
time.
Fire.
Yeah, Big Daddy might have went, somebody could correct me down the road, but I'm assuming at least 20 years straight being the only drugstore in that community. You know what I
In
mean?
all, not just the community, like in all arena,
Yeah,
from
right.
Aruka to arena.
From Aruca to Arima.
And
So
he's the
that's
only one
from,
on the north coast.
yeah, Ruben just said it all right there. You see
Hey,
that?
Ruben.
Hey, cuz.
It's a
So,
family affair on the Real HD
absolutely.
show celebrating Sister Steph Grant coming through with the Yoni inspired services. Put your woman first. Y'all better put your woman first, your mama first, your daughter first. I wish you weren't all the way
Absolutely.
down in Virginia because when my daughter comes up, she's down in college in Bama. When she comes up, I would love for her to, partake of your services because she has some things. She's a young lady. She's figuring herself out, and I would love to for her to partake in some of the things that you do. Can we order
Appreciate that.
products through online that you
Good
Oh
offer
question.
yes. Oh
that can
yes.
that can help the women if we can't get to you?
Yes, you can order it right off the website.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome,
as far
awesome.
as herbs, like if someone wanted herbs specially made, they can just call me off the number off the website because I'm almost done with being a herbologist, so that's what I'm currently
Oh,
doing.
blessings.
At this time, I'm doing
Blessings.
yeah, I'm trying to
That's fire. That's
become a
fire.
herbologist so I can mix my own herbs.
No doubt, man.
Okay.
We need more
Yeah,
apothecaries. We need more
we gotta
I'm
do a
almost
lot
done.
of
I'm almost
FaceTime. We
done.
gotta do a lot of FaceTime rapping together. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
We in that
We need
lane.
we
All
need
right.
a we need that. We need that like
So,
we need that like mother's milk. But let me
Yep.
ask you this, right? Let's go deeper on this whole thing, right? We have an epidemic in the communities where a lot of the older people are suffering from ailments, circulation ailments, and pathogens that have built up over the years. And it sounds like your services could help in some vital ways for elders and older people to detox so that they're not riddled with so much inflammation and
Mm-hmm.
pain and so on and so forth. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
an older woman, I'm in my 60s or my early 70s, and I want to improve my overall health through you, what would you recommend that older woman come and utilize with your services?
I would offer them a steam. However, I would definitely start with mild water and it wouldn't be as hot. And then I would look at the herbs. What are they currently facing? And then I would look at them herbs to provide them with that. And I would
Mm.
also offer them with a foot detox because again, that does help with the inflammation. And what a lot of people don't know, when your health is going bad, the first thing that goes is your feet. Because all the blood circulates down, not up.
See that? See that?
Mhm.
See that? See what you get
Learning a
when you
lot
watch
of
the Real
Yeah,
jewels.
HD
so
show?
even like
You
diabetics
get
and stuff, if
a
you notice, they
fire
start losing their feet
jewel.
first. They start losing their toes and things of that nature because
Mm.
all the blood flows down, nothing flows up. So everything is
Mm.
coming down to the feet. So as people get older, you start to see them bending over and hunchback, and they start walking with a cane because
Mm.
their feet become more tired than anything because all the weight
Mm.
bears down to your bottom.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Um, do you recommend earthing
You
for
said
like
earthing?
let's say somebody is done with their foot detox. Would you recommend earthing with the feet as well?
What do you mean, like just walking on ground?
Yeah, walking on ground. So you get that.
Um,
So now
no,
that you
because
detox, you get
what
that
I've
great
learned
stimulus
what
from
I've learned though
Mother
with
Nature.
walking on ground that it actually causes more bad to our feet than good because of
Okay,
the
Mm.
different textures of the floor of the ground. So it's
right.
actually causing more bad to our feet than good. That's why a lot of people have a lot of rough skin at the bottom. So back in overseas when you see a lot of people walking around with no shoes on their feet and their feet be so rough and stuff, it's because of that. It's different textures of the ground.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend it. From what I was reading, I don't think it would be beneficial.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's just
That's
my
good.
opinion.
And you're hearing it here first from a practitioner.
Yeah, that's just my
Um,
opinion because the ground has different textures. So a lot of
right.
times that's contributing to the pain or whatever that you have in that at that time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in and please give your adulations or your acknowledgments or your questions or concerns for the good sis Steph?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Yes.
Add on,
Is my
please.
mic on? Because I
Yes,
It
it
waited
is
my
is.
on.
turn.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Just gonna be vulnerable and speak for anyone who is interested in Yanni Steeman. I'll be vulnerable and put my own story out there. I'm late as a mom, considered to what society would say, because I had my first child at 38. But I'm just be honest. I got a Yanni Steam first. I really did. So I'm not gonna say that the science makes it to where that would have the reason why. However, the fact is, I got a Yanni steam and I have two children. So anybody that's
Wow.
listening that is concerned about
Wow.
fertility issues, I did walk up in there. The owner asked me what I was struggling with. Um, and I can't that literally is what I was struggling with. And so not too long after the Yanni steam, I got pregnant. So if you're indecisive, it can't hurt, you know what I mean? And I did feel much better. And I will say, things change in the bedroom after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
Okay?
definitely does.
All right.
All
Okay. So
right.
now,
So,
It's
So
now,
true.
definitely
now you going where I was going, where I was
okay,
traveling to with it.
I'm helping you
Okay.
out.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's talk a little about that. We are the
Well,
real
listen, after the Yanni steam, ain't gonna be a lot of talking, if you know what I'm saying.
All right. All
Ah,
Yeah,
right.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
and that
Okay.
What
Okay.
are
happens
you
Yeah.
because
saying?
Flow.
it creates a flow. So when you have
Okay.
the
Okay.
herbs, it now creates that flow. So a lot of people that's having dryness and stuff, they no longer having the dryness because the
Right.
herbs have
Right.
created the
And
flow.
thanks, Flo.
So
Yeah.
that was going to be a
Right.
question of mine. My question to you, Stephanie, was going to be: do your customers feel like rejuvenated in that area, especially when it
Yeah,
comes
that's
to
remember
their
that's what I said at the beginning. They
encounters
feel
with their men or whomever their partners are? Do they feel rejuvenated in that area, and does that awaken?
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
the libido.
Yes, it does. And it you have to be careful. I always tell my people that when you steam, that first day don't have any type of sexual intercourse because your body is detoxifying. So because the
Mm,
body is detoxing and you're
great
getting
point.
away rid of all that stuff, you don't want to push anything back in there at that time. So I always tell them I recommend 24 hours to wait. Let the body does what it needs to do and then have sexual intercourses. And at that time, I've been told that it felt like a brand new, like that was their first time having sexual intercourses again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So forget that. So forget that
yeah. I
surgery
know
that
sisters,
all them
I've been with
that
sisters
all them
that
celebs is
do it,
talking about.
and
Forget
yeah,
that
it
surgery.
absolutely works.
Rock with your
Well,
joint.
That's
you see the celebrities are doing them now too, though, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's an ancient thing, actually.
Yeah,
You
Yes.
they
know,
actually started that back in Africa. And when
yeah,
they came over, it only became really, really popular because of, Love and Hip Hop and all of them shows. But it's been popular. It's been a thing
yeah,
because Gushing is not good. Gushing is pushing everything back into the stream. So
true,
this was a better healthy way to detoxify your body.
yeah,
And
Okay.
again, like you said, fertility herbs really work. I have 4 people that are my spy
absolutely,
alone. And if y'all go online and read the Google reviews, I'm still running 5-star after the last 4.5 years.
Yo,
yeah. I
applause.
actually,
Uh oh.
Applause.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
Yeah.
as a herbalist
Let's go with
Give her
myself,
a
that.
fire, man. Give her a fire moment in the background, Vic.
Absolutely, man. That is
There you
fire.
go. That's what I'm talking about. That's
That
a
and
is
mic drop.
absolutely. That is
That's a
absolutely
mic
wonderful.
drop.
yeah,
So
I just want to add on to that too.
no, go ahead, bro.
Two situations. I've helped a couple of sisters in that area myself with herbs because I study herbs as well and
Mm.
been practicing for many years as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and absolutely works. Absolutely works. One situation, I had a homeboy. Um, his wife went to the doctor. Doctor basically told her um, she can't have a kid again. So I recommended remove certain foods, all white food out the diet because
Hmm.
that's going to cause mucus, inflammation in all parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
and put on a herb regimen, iron regimen through herbs, and yeah, chase his hair. He's kicking in martial arts right now. you know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Fire. Fire.
yeah, absolutely works. Herbs absolutely works. It's about the dosage
Yeah.
and about stopping the things that will stop the herbs from actually working. Or,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
because the thing is, it's like how I try to explain herbs with people when they just want to eat what they want to eat. It's like you sweeping up your house and never putting the dust in the dustpan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
what happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
You want to keep eating the foods that's causing the issue, but then you want the herbs to remove the issue. So,
Yep, and a lot of
Right.
people don't know that. A lot of the foods is also what's causing yeast and stuff too. So they got to
Yes.
be
absolutely.
careful about what they're eating because that's also a cause of the yeast. Is it's the food they're eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing I want to add with the feet, reason why the feet are the first to go to is the furthest away from the heart,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
you
Yes.
Mm.
know.
Yes.
So you got to always remember that. And if you got cold feet, if you're catching cold feet, that means that your capillaries are either shrinking or your capillaries are clogged. And if your capillaries are clogged in your feet, if you're a male, they're clogged in your penis. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
woman, in your vagina, in your head, in your hands, because as above, so below. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
extremities is capillaries,
No.
Mm-hmm.
you
Fire.
know?
Fire point. So let me ask you a
Yeah.
Right.
question. Because I have a group of young ladies down in Alabama. I have some young ladies in Howard right now that might be watching this program. But by the way, we blasting off the 5 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Mob Crush, D Live, Trovo Nation. We're everywhere you want to be. We are the Real HD Show. We're broadcasting to over 15 different channels right now.
Mm.
So you being seen by just about everybody. Shout out to my Mob Crush audience holding it down. So I got a tick from my Mob Crush audience, and they asked me if you wanted to uh if you're a young lady and you want to be regular with this, you want to have a regular holistic diet of, including steaming, how many times a year, or what's the regiment that people should participate with this?
I recommend once a month, no more than twice a month for steaming. If you're
Okay.
doing fertility herbs, I recommend
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost her for a bit. Maybe she'll come
Yeah,
on
she'll
back.
be back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that was important because there's a lot of us trying many different things
Hmm.
to stay healthy, maintain that homeostasis or improve it.
Right.
And she's back. All right, let me put her back
Good.
All
on.
wrong.
All right, yeah, we
There we go.
lost the last maybe 20 seconds of what you said.
Yeah, so I do recommend steaming once a month. If you're
Okay.
having PMS issues, menstrual issues, I do recommend that you steam prior
Two
to your
months.
menstrual starting or after the
Yep.
menstrual is over. A lot of times I tell all my clients that come in, steaming after the menstrual is actually extremely beneficial because if you notice as a woman, after the fifth day or seventh day of your menstrual, you start to have the brown, the brown blood. After that, once you steam, it will pull all that out and detoxify. That's the best time to steam because it's literally taking out whatever's left in the body. So that's the
Okay.
best time to steam. And you shouldn't steam every week and you shouldn't steam no more than 2 times a month
Okay.
unless you're doing fertility herbs.
Okay. 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 So all my young ladies, there's a little jewel for you. You know what I mean? And if you guys want to order her services or order her any of her wares, please do. Please go to the website and order those things for your overall health and well-being. Do you do consultations?
We do consultations, and for
Okay.
body
Mm.
contouring, we do charge a $50 consultation fee,
Okay.
but that's included whether or not you choose to get services by us.
Okay. Okay. And
Hmm.
who if any would disqualify as a candidate for something like this? Because let's say they're in a certain shape or a certain health,
Do you
you
mean
know,
far as the
condition
contouring or for steaming?
for steaming or any of the more delicate services that you might offer.
Okay, so I do not take anyone that's 18 years or under. um,
Okay.
if they're pregnant, I do not take them. If they're currently on their menstrual, I will not take them.
Okay.
Other than that, shape has nothing to do with the steaming part. I take anyone for that. Far as body contouring, I like to give realistic results. So I'm very how can I say it? I'm very real about what I tell them. So if I can't help them, I'll let them know. I don't want to say it's a weight because some people may not want stomach. They might just want, hey, I just want 2 inches off my arms. Hey, I might just want this. So if I can deliver, I'll deliver. But if I can't, I'll make sure I let them know ahead of time. So I don't really put
Yeah, I respect.
restrictions.
Yeah, I respect that a whole lot because you're not trying to lead nobody on, and there's
Yeah,
a lot of
no.
places that make business off of leading people on. You
Yeah, no.
know. Yeah,
I
and
think that's
I've
why we
been in
probably still running
situations.
5 star because I'm very, very real with my clients. I'm extremely real with them.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's crazy? People appreciate that honesty.
Hmm.
Like on a sidebar, something completely unrelated to this. Like, it was with my TV set. I was trying to find some TV shop to fix my TV because I just didn't feel like spending on another TV. I just had bought this damn thing. They make these things so fragile now that you just conk out within 3 years. So, and Vic knows because we were talking about our TV issues a little while back. So I called these people and they're very good. They explained the situation because I had researched it before and everything was matching up. But the guy said, look, honestly, I suggest you just go buy another TV. I was like, really? But you can fix this thing. He said, yeah, 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 but it'd be the same price as buying a brand new one. So I told him straight. I went onto Google. I gave him the 5-star ranking. Why? Because of honesty.
Hmm.
He didn't waste my time. He didn't waste my dollar.
Hmm.
I had to give him the big ups. I had to pay him
Hmm.
back somehow. You know what I'm saying? So you doing that on a bigger scale when it comes to somebody's body, their health and
Hmm.
well-being, and their mind state. You know what I mean? Like, man, I respect that. I respect that. I respect that you put that out there, you know?
Appreciate that. Yeah, I gotta be and I'm not for the money. I'm more so
Mhm.
really just want to provide them with space to just
Mhm.
find peace. So that's why I'm always giving back into my business. So I'm always giving back free steams or doing running specials, $25 steams for the
Mhm.
day. And I'm always doing
Nice,
something to give
beautiful.
back into the business.
I
Okay.
gotta, and I gotta big you up again, and I gotta say this again. You are continuing the legacy of our grandfather.
Oh,
Straight
well, I
up,
appreciate it. I like to learn
straight
more.
up, straight up. Like No,
Great
real
work.
straight up. Your actually Frida's grandfather, your great grandfather. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And you're continuing the legacy of Edgar Worrell. Like, call your grandfather and have a very good conversation about with him about his father. Please do that if you haven't already. He can
I
give you the
haven't. I will.
lowdown. Yeah, he can give you the lowdown, and then call your aunt Janet. She could give you the lowdown to whatever he ain't put down. She could pick up for you. Trust me on this. You gotta do it while these elders are here. You
Right.
got to milk the cow, please. I want you to
Absolutely.
really
Yeah, because
understand the
he
genes you
used to
come
make
from
his
with your
own
great
formulas.
grandfather.
Yeah, he
You
used
hear
to make
that?
his own formulas. He made things that he cured things that people are not curing now.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see, back then, the
I'll give
druggist
you a
was
story
like a doctor.
of
You know
something
what I'm saying?
that went down. Let me add this on real
Go ahead,
quick.
go ahead, go ahead. Mhm.
So in this era, before my cousin, right? I have a cousin named Jillian, right? And you know Jillian, Steph.
Mm-hmm.
So she around Frida age, right? Your mom age.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she wasn't even born yet when this happened, right? So my grandfather had the drugstore going and he was helping who he could help. People would come there, maybe they don't have the money. He still helped them. He was a guy like that, right? So this guy, when he was a kid, he remembers going to get medicine for his father, right?
Mm.
So this man became a grown man, moved to Texas, right? Now he's an old man. He was in his 70s or something, like 80s or something like that at the time, right? But he couldn't take care of himself, right? And my cousin is a nurse. So she shows up at the guy house because she does house visits as well. And she's taking care of the guy. So she heard the accent. So she asked him what part of Trinidad he from. So, they talk in Trinidad talk and all of that. So he decides he's going to tell her a story, right? So he starts telling her stories about when he was a kid and he used to have to go to this drugstore on the main road, right? And how the guy, sometimes his father didn't have the money for the medication, but the medication was working, right? And the guy who owned the drugstore, he always remembered him, right? Called him Mr. Worrell because he always remembered his name because he helped his father for many years. Father didn't have money, he would still help him, right? Because the
Mm.
medication he created was working. And Jillian looks at him and was like, "That's my grandfather,
Oh wow.
all the
Speaking
way
of
in
Rube,
Texas."
mm,
You believe that? She come all the
Wow.
way, living in Texas as a nurse, taking care of this random guy. This guy tells her story about her grandfather and how he helped his father
In
when
the
he
whole
was a kid.
time.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was a kid when he used to have to go and pick up the medication.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Because our grandfather, he would have been your great grandfather. He would have been over 100 years old now. You
Gosh
know?
almighty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He would have been way into his hundreds now. You know.
Yes.
So yeah, he used to create his own formulas. Everything he
yes.
used to do it from scratch. It wasn't like now where factories. Because
It's
I
becoming
worked for DuPont
chemicalized.
Pharmaceutical before. So when I
Mm-hmm.
first came out of high school, that was my first big job. I would say was working for a pharmaceutical. And DuPont, they made everything in house, so I got to experience it from the ground. From the mezzanine, from the chemicals, all the way down to the powder, to the coating, to packaging. I saw it all. So modern versus the old time where they had to make distilled water and all of this stuff from scratch. Totally different. You know. So yeah, so us studying herbs and stuff like that, we are carrying on what he was doing.
Wow.
You
I
know,
never knew that. That's really interesting.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
It's in your
yeah.
Wow.
genes.
Really
It's in your
It
interesting.
runs in the family.
DNA. In your
Yeah, and we have
DNA.
many doctors, many nurses in our family. Many,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
Fire.
yeah, many pharmacists.
So
Auntie
before
Jones, she was a pharmacist as well.
Hmm.
So before we get too far going into the show, let's
Mm-hmm.
switch lanes a little bit and talk about
Aha.
blessings beyond lessons. Talk to us about
Uh-huh.
this, sis. This is your other business that's doing really, really well. And
Yep, that's
this is
my
right
heart.
this is right after my heart as an educator who advocates for disabled people, period, whether they're young or old. Talk to us about this. Talk to us about your motivations for why you do this, and then we can have a more of a higher discussion about the world of disabilities. Go ahead, sis. Floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I've been working in the field for what am I? About 20 years. My mom was working for Catholic Charities, and back in the days, that's all me and my brother kind of like really was around was individuals that had either developmental disabilities or intellectual disabilities or even profound mental health. So that's just I was always around that. No matter if I moved to Pennsylvania, I will find myself working in that field. If I moved to Baltimore, I found myself working in that field. So when I came to Virginia, again, I found myself working in that field. Um, my overall was to I really wanted to work with adolescents because I was a trouble. I'm not gonna say a trouble teen. I was a teen that was going through teenage stuff. Is how I like to put it because everyone can change. And I really wanted to work with adolescents, but because I have always been around that population, it kind of just stuck with me. When I moved to Virginia, I stayed within that population. I continued to work at different facilities, and it got to a point that I started growing other people's businesses. So there was someone that came to me that was out of real estate. She worked in real estate. She knew nothing about the IDDD field, and she wanted to start a business in that field. And from the ground up, I was able to start her business, get her over 25 clients within her company.
Hmm?
After I did that, I did it again for
There's just
someone
two up
else.
making one for tomorrow. Oh,
After
sorry,
that,
y'all.
I did it again for someone else, and I said, you know what, I could do this for myself. I'm growing everyone else's business. I need to start pouring more into myself like I'm pouring into everybody else's cups. So I sat back, I thought about it, and I took the necessary steps to become a provider. So now I'm a sponsored residential provider, which I place the individuals inside people's home and I oversee that, ensuring that their health and safety is there, ensuring that they're getting the opportunities that we have as people, ensuring that they're getting out in the community, they're participating in community integrated activities, they're finding employment if that's something that they desire to do. So that's where I come in as the provider, and then I also own a day program attached to that, which some of the individuals will come out to the facility to participate in community integrated activities to socialize with their peers. But within my program, we do a lot of volunteer work. So we do Meals on Wheels, we're feeding the homeless, we're providing hats, scarves, and gloves to the homeless. One day we just gave out money to the homeless. We do the animal shelter. We are walking dogs. We just do a lot of different stuff to ensure that my individuals can get out in the community and integrate with everyone else.
Well, people love your business, and before I bring my guests on, I do my homework, and I'm seeing businesses. I'm seeing great reviews for Put Your Woman First, and then I'm seeing great reviews for Blessings Beyond Lessons. So I just wanted to show this real quick, and you can read this one if you like,
Okay.
because I'm sure you probably have seen this, and you can give some background to what our folks are looking at. This is a accolade that Steph has gotten from her clients. And can you see that real quick, or do you need me to make it bigger?
I'm scrolling in on my phone.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll read it. It says, a big shout to Blessings Beyond Lessons. Stephanie Grant showed up and showed out with her crew. You all are the best. Thank you for coming to help sort and organize. You have earned information table at the Christmas in February, Saturday, 2nd, 2025. Come rep your day services, brochures, and business cards. So you're already getting accolades for what you do
You know
in a
what?
real
I've
way.
never seen that.
But you haven't.
I've
Oh, well,
never seen
well, I'm
that.
glad this is the first on the Real HD show. Let's,
Wow.
yeah, let's give you some love for
That's why I'm
being,
like, well, who you
Oh,
know?
that's
I know. I
beautiful,
started to
guys.
zoom in. I've never seen that.
yeah, let's give you some love. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Accolade right there on your business, and I'm glad I could be the first to bring it to you. You know,
Yeah, I
this
really
is
never
dope.
seen that. Honestly speaking, I could cry right now because I've never seen that. And I
Oh,
did
that's
take my
what's
guys
up.
out
That's
there.
what's up.
Yeah,
That's
I
what's
did take
up.
my guys out there and we sorted some things and it was really fun, but it was just my crew that showed up and she was looking for other people and I called her that morning and I said, "Hey, we'll come out and help you." And wow. I got tears in my
Dope.
eyes.
Oh,
Oh wow.
That's
hey man,
dope.
that's
That's
it's
so
great
dope.
when you get your roses. You know what I mean, and you don't suspect them, and they brighten your day. Love that for you. Real quick question. Let's get into uh why you do what you do with blessings beyond lessons. So let's talk about it. Your motivations for this. You told us about your motivations. What are some of the bumps in the road, or what are some of the inequalities that you face? Uh, Trying to keep your business going, trying to get people to appreciate what you do, and for a field that's dominated by the mother folks, and you're trying to bring your slant, the creative way that you would move your business to that field. What are some of the obstacles that you have in your path?
I face a lot of obstacles.
Okay.
Well, one in the industry, is oversaturated. Because it had became so easy for people become providers in
Okay.
the state of Virginia, it's a high priority. So some of the services are considered high priority services. So you have people that know nothing about the field jumping into the field. It's deeper than it's deeper than quantity for me. It's about the quality. So that's why on my team I don't have a lot of staff and I do a lot of the business by myself. So I'm my own Q. I'm my own staff. I'm my own program director. And that's as of right now until my business grows to the numbers that I wanted to see grow. Why? Because I know no one's going to provide my individuals with the supports that I provide them with. Um, I go above and beyond for them. And I'm talking about above and beyond. Again, if my individual wants to seek job services and the case manager is not moving fast enough, I have now became the case manager and the job coach. So I have now provided them with everything they
Mm.
needed to go get the job. I know how to. I'm very resourceful, so I know how to. I know how to get my resources, how to network, and how to get the things that I want. So every time I just got a new individual today for my day program facility. She starts on May 5th and my exact words to the case manager was, "Put me in WAMS and press the button." I got everything else from there. And she was like, "Wait, wait, say that again." I said, "Put me in WAMS and press the button." I got everything else from there. Simply telling her
Oh,
that
that's awesome.
I'm not going to need her to do anything else because anything that the individual is going to need, I'll be able to provide.
Oh, that's so great of you. Um, Quick question. Are you getting any youth that transition from high school age into adult age, and now you have to help them make that transition? And how do those families feel about your intervention once it's all done?
Yes, we get a lot of kids that may age out of foster care. In order
Okay.
to become a waiver recipient, though, you do have to be diagnosed with ID or DD
Hmm.
at the age of 18. So once they have that diagnosis, then we can proceed. It's hard for some families. Some families really need a break. So sometimes they feel like it's a relief that they have these services put in place for their loved ones so they can get that finally that break. Some of them been dealing with it, all the individual's life. Maybe they're now 26 years old and all they had was mom taking care of them. Now mom feels like, okay, I need a release. It's not that I can't do it no more. It's just that I'm becoming a little tired. And that's why the state have made these different services. Some people have no family. Some people are aging out of foster care. Some people are going from group homes to group home, or they're going from hospital to group home. It can be really challenging to get them to adapt back into the community. So that's where we come in as professionals to provide them with those supports, whether it's getting them the resources for counseling, different therapy, finding what their needs are and assisting with them.
Okay. Okay. And do you feel like, or in your experience, do you come across uh, many who do you? Oh, I thought we lost her. Okay, let me just open it back up again. Okay, great. So, in your travels and in your experience, um, do you find yourself, I guess, what's the right way to put this? Doing a lot of counseling
Every day.
for newer clients, like when they come in with families, and like you said, the family might be overwhelmed because they spent many years trying to rectify uh, a disability or gain some traction with a disability, and haven't had much success, and they come to you, and you find yourself being more of a counselor as well as providing the services that you
I'm
do.
a counselor to them, to the family, to the
Uh-huh.
the individuals, and to the staff.
Oh wow.
Because it can become overwhelming for the staff, and especially when they
Right.
have their own everyday life stuff. And
Right.
for the individuals, it can become overwhelming when they really want to do well and they just can't because it's a chemical balance. So
Mm,
sometimes the medication is not working. So you have to go back to find out what medication can work for them, what medication is not working for them, what therapist could work for them, what therapist is not working for them, what's the triggers, what's not the triggers. Some
right.
days,
Right.
you come in and I'm also a sponsor provider. So I also have an individual that lives in my home. I had two individuals that was living in my home, and I actually got rid of one because it became a lot for me. It became a little overwhelming for me because, again, you find yourself counseling every day. So because they live in your home, you're counseling 24 hours a day. You don't know what their mood is going to be when they come from these facilities. You don't know who set them off. So now you're trying to redirect behavior that you didn't cause. A lot of
Right.
times that can be extremely difficult because you're trying to find different coping mechanisms for them that they may not even want to use at that time. So now
Right.
you have to find different ways. Okay, let me rethink this. Let me put my thinking cap on. All right. So how about you if you give me 10 minutes and talk to me about this, or if you journal for 20 minutes, tomorrow we get to do this. So you have to do a lot of that with them. And with me having them in my home and then having four kids, it became a lot. It became really overwhelming for me because, again, if I want to do homework with my kids and individuals having a behavior, everything now stops. So now I have to counsel, I have to redirect, I have to, provide coping skills. I have to do everything for this one person. And if it's
Mm,
attention seeking behavior, the behavior is not going to stop because now they want all your attention.
mm. Have you ever sought like an individual case, and you just know that this particular person with a little bit of TLC can like make an extraordinary leap in their development or in their independence? And
Yes.
you have you taken a personal case on where you say, "Yo, I see what this person is doing. If I just help them to move this way, or they're really good with their hands, so let me try to seek out some vocational services for them." Have you ever taken on uh a personal goodwill case with your clients where it's like the heart wants it more than the job mandates it? You know what I mean?
Yes, actually, my current client I had for 6 years.
Hmm.
His mom passed, his dad passed, and I was in attendance for both funerals. His grandma passed, I was there with him as well. I knew his potential when I first got him. He was in the streets, meeting strangers and so forth. So when I got him, I was able to change. I seen the potential in him. I just
Mm,
knew that he just needed that additional love. He needed someone to show him that they cared and that they wasn't just gonna, say, hey, it's dignity at risk. Yeah, you can run the streets. I know that's your right. You can just go, he needed a little bit more of someone that say, yes, I know that's your right. However, I need you to look at, do you want to be, do you want to die, or do you want, I had to give him that kind of
mm,
love. And right now,
mm,
like I said, he doesn't meet strangers on the internet as often anymore. He's working. He was starting culinary art school. So there's a lot that I've done with him and for him where he's at today. To the point that when I wanted to discharge him at one point, the case managers begged me to keep him.
Uh,
The same thing with my other individual now. And my individuals, they travel. So my one girl, she's been in the system all her life. She got with me. I took her to Vegas for her birthday, turned around and took her to Disney for a summer trip. But a lot of times they don't understand that. We can give them as much, we can take them to Europe because they're not functioning, they functioning skills are not there. They sometimes don't understand that, and at times you can feel unappreciative, and that's the thing with the
mm,
feel is that you're battling personal feelings, and you have to remember that this is a job, this is my profession, but you also know, like, I'm trying to give you the world, I'm trying to show you the world, I'm trying to have you live better, I'm keeping your hair done, I'm dressing you nice. They don't care about that stuff though. And
mm,
that's a lot of times where we find ourselves lost as professionals, thinking that and even as parents, we thinking we giving our kids what we want them to have, and they may not even care about that. So I had to
mm,
learn that, and that's where I'm at now, is not overdoing it just to show them like, hey, yeah, I'm a good provider to stay within my company. Now I'm just like, this is not the company for you. That's fine, but this is what I'm giving you as a provider, and sometimes it's never enough, unfortunately, to say, because in their mind it's never enough.
yeah, yeah, I get it, and
Mm.
I appreciate your work. That's powerful work. Probably thankless work in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
how do you handle a family that just gets like irate about the way that you're handling a person, or you may give them some advice that might be best practice about handling their loved one who is, has an affliction or disability or a gait or developmental issue, and then you run into that kind of bumping heads with the family. Is that something that you do run into, and how do you handle things like
I
that?
me personally, really haven't ran into that, because I'm
Okay.
normally the advocate for the family. So I'm normally
Okay.
introducing them to different services. Hey, they have in-home supports, right? So if you don't want to utilize your waiver and you don't want your loved one to go into group home or sponsor residential, you can put them in in-home supports where a staff member will come to your home and provide the supports. So a lot of times I'm introducing into other supports that they don't even know about. So I don't really run into any irate parents. I mean, when I was in a group home, I did, based off of when I didn't own a group home, I was working in there. So you have other staff in there as well. So maybe the loved one will come home with their outfits not matching, and now the parent is upset because she knew she just bought them all these clothes, and hey, where's my son's clothes? Why is it, why am these being sent home with this? Things of that nature. But I haven't really faced anything challenging with providing the services.
Oh, okay. That's a blessing. That's a blessing
Yeah,
because I
it
know,
really is.
yeah, because I have my mother-in-law does HHA work, and she's at the group home houses in New York, and you kind of go from, depending on the agency you work for, you go from house to house, and you deal with several clients or whatever the new term for the people who stay there, the disabled folks who stay there, and every once in a while you'll run into some sort of embattled situation. And I remember a couple of years ago, they wanted to fire everyone in the house because this one person who was on the spectrum, who was a long term resident, decided to go off and be real physical with everybody in the house, meaning the workers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And those things turned into a real contentious. It was all on the news. It was wild. It was wild.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And
Because the
then, I
resident,
mean,
because the resident got hurt. They got hurt
oh
in the
yeah. So now
in the
investigations
way
has to
that
be
you
done.
have to like maintain them, or I guess put them in a position so they don't hurt themselves.
Mhm.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, well, actually, back at not under my company, but when I was helping the other young lady with her company, we had an issue with a staff where the family was stating that the individual wasn't being changed, and it looked like he had bed
Mm,
sores and stuff like that. So
wow.
what
Yeah.
I did as a program director, I removed the individual and I terminated the sponsor. So that's how I move. When my family comes to me with something, and if it's valid, I'm just gonna terminate you and move on to the next, because I'm not gonna have that within my company at all.
I hear you on that. I hear you on
Yeah,
that.
because I'm big on health and safety of the individuals. I'm really big on that. So that's my biggest thing is they are they healthy and are they safe. So when it comes to medication, when it comes to doctor's appointments, when it comes to all of that stuff, but when it comes to them making decisions, that's something as a staff member that you can deal with because there's such things as dignity at risk. So I'll leave that to them. But when it comes to the health and safety, I have to ensure that the medications are there. I have to ensure that they're going to their doctor's appointments. I have to advocate if something is wrong for them. So I don't even let my sponsors do doctor's appointments by themselves. I'm also involved in that.
Fire, fire. I don't even know if we're gonna get to sinners tonight because we having a whole higher discussion about this. I'm with it. Let's keep it. Let's keep it flowing. Um,
Word.
let's open up the floor for anybody that has questions, concerns, comments, acknowledgments for the great sister and her work. I got 1,000 questions. I could just roll them off, but I want to give everybody else a chance to jump in. I used to do this. I used to teach and advocate for children with disabilities for many, many years. I even worked in the
Mm,
field from a vocational and contract standpoint. So I got questions on questions on questions, especially when I see someone from another region and they do what I used to do or in a familiar realm. We could just talk shop all day.
mm.
Anybody else want to jump in and, you know, celebrate this sister's wonderful wares?
Yeah, I gotta say, like again, man, like I'm just highly impressed, and I mean this humbly. And she's a multi-genius, man. She's a multi-genius in our midst, man. I'm saying it, man. Like again,
Oh, I
it's
appreciate
like
that.
absolutely, cuz absolutely, and it's like you know what? Just like with your great grandfather, you have things that are in common with him. You have something that's in common with me because I work in the psych field.
Mm.
So I deal with people like from the what I like to call nurses patients because I come
Mm-hmm.
up with these little like sayings, you know what I'm saying, or nicknames or my own branding. Then like a nurse's patient is that patient that you trained in school to deal with. So
Mm-hmm.
we got the nurses patient, may they be the elderly, the teenagers, the mid-age, and then you got the folks that are like really off the street,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the folks that are really out of jail or
Mm-hmm.
dodging jail. You know what I mean? So in the psych field, I deal with a full
All of
spectrum.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, a full spectrum. So, as a patient engagement specialist, I'm the guy they call in like the negotiator for the cops. Then I come in
Mm-hmm.
for the nurses and the doctors, and I talk that person down. I try to get them to take their medication or at least calm down, put that chair down. Don't swing on that doctor, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. You know what I mean? So, hearing you tell your story about the business you're doing and not just the business, just the labor of love that you're doing. Man, I just feel the connections that way. I'm catching up with you right now, just listening to this interview. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
right.
So it's just beautiful. But, I yield the floor.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I've
like I said,
also.
it is challenging, sometimes being a provider and then have coming home, it be days, and I kid you not, if I could record my life, y'all be like, how do you do it? Where one of my kids is at school having their own issues going on. And I'm up here at the school with my two clients, and it be a lot because you still gotta be a parent, right? You still gotta be a mom, you still gotta
Mhm,
respond to stuff, right? You still gotta be a wife at the end of the night, right? So could
mhm,
you imagine coming home, having a long day after day support, and now your individuals having a behavior that lives in your house? So now on top of that, you have to deal with that. It might last till
That's
12
crazy.
o'clock midnight. You know what I mean? So it's some days where I'm in the house with my kids, but I haven't even had a chance to talk to my kids because I'm dealing
Mm.
with this individual with a behavior. So it can become very, very, very challenging, to say the less, but I'm doing
This
it.
this
yeah,
part this
and
part of the interview I'm
just
gonna
to.
actually review because I was in a store running an errand and I mute just to make sure the show doesn't lose its what it needs to for the listeners to hear you clearly. So this part of the show I'm gonna actually review. I'm gonna rewind and check it out because I'm hearing what you're saying, but it's hard for me to like, man, I can't even say I could do the same thing you're doing, but I gotta hear that whole part of the show again. But this is nuts. For you to be coming home and having clients at home, that's crazy.
And
Yeah, yeah, it's
the and you know what, Steph? Once again, you're carrying on. you know, the legacy from the family, because you have aunts like Auntie Joan who took in strangers off the street and turned their
Oh
life
wow.
around. They've lived with us,
Yeah, that's your
you
great
know.
aunt.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we have a cousin that has where where Uncle Patrick actually was staying at first. She started like for the elderly, a home where she'd take care of
A
them, and she
private
had
home, because that's
staff, and
that's my
yeah,
hey Ruben, that's my next
there it is. Yeah, there it is.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
my next
you
adventure
know.
right now is to do a
Yeah,
private home for the seniors. Because out here all you have to do is just be licensed and they become private pay homes. So you just put them into the group home instead of them going to nursing homes. So yeah,
you
that's
see.
my next, yeah.
Yeah, so the
Wow, that's
family,
crazy you said
you know.
that.
Yeah, yeah, and even in you know, from my mom's time, I mean, our family, that's the most of us. We 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 just do what we do. We don't look for anything in return. We do it because it's the
Mm-mm.
right thing to do at that time, and we have the ability to do it. You know, so you're maximizing your time on Earth, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, a lot of people got idle time. They may not recognize it as such,
Mhm.
but a lot of people got idle time, and if they have their leisure time, you know, they're selfish with their leisure time. I should say, you know, they could help
Mhm.
others that really need help, and
They won't.
they don't even stop to think. They don't even. It's not even a thought. You know.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and
I
you
agree.
know, us all coming from what we come from, the neighborhoods we was raised in, you know, for you to be doing the great work that you're doing, it's a beautiful thing. You know, a lot of us ain't make it
Appreciate
out
it.
from the neighborhoods we come from. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
they just stuck in the loop, you know, and you
Mhm.
excelled, you know. So it's a beautiful thing. You know, to me, you definitely need to write your history. You know, that's something that our family members haven't really done. I feel like a lot of us have great stories in our family, and the stories should be written and should be told because we can educate a lot of people.
Yeah, I want to write a book
Um,
so bad.
yeah, yeah, it's
No, this is
necessary.
fire because this
You
is,
know,
this could be the start of your Horatio moment where people go run that and tell your tale. And this would be the start of it. You never know. Somebody
Mhm.
might see this particular interview and say, hey, I wanna tell her story. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
yeah,
And I love the fact
Oh,
absolutely.
that
it's a
you're gonna
story.
have
Y'all didn't get the story. Y'all just getting the business stuff, but y'all ain't get the stories.
Right, but
Oh, I
that's what
got
I'm saying. You
stories.
gotta
I
say
got
that for the
ah
book,
testimonies. This
sis.
ain't
You
even
gotta
a
say that.
story. This is just
You gotta
business.
say
But
that for the book. You know, the
yeah, the
book
yeah,
and the
story
say
is
that for the
real.
documentaries.
say that for
Say
the
it for the
book. Say
book.
that for the for the
And
for
the
the for the
documentaries too.
29.99.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because you know, I would say even documentary as well, you know, book and documentary, because we in an era where a lot of people are heavily visual, you
Mhm.
know, so who the book don't get, the documentary will get,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then you'd be the inspiration for others to document their life story that way, and show what they're doing, because you know, you can tell your story from coming from Queens to you know, Roosevelt, to, you know what I'm saying, and all of
Mhm.
that, but then show your outcome. Look, I'm in VA, I relocated, I did this, you know, this is what happened when we first started this business. You know, you still have those chairs, everything, you can show and prove everything with the
Mhm.
documentation, you know. So it's something to think about, because now everything is so accessible, and it can be done much faster,
Right.
you
Right.
know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even writing that book with the chat GPT, it can help you. I
Mhm.
mean, I have a friend writing a book right now with chat GPT, you know. It's his
Yeah, I had a
story,
couple
you
of
know what I'm
people
saying?
like get into. I had a lady that came in there and she put tears in my eyes because she was like, "Whatever you God told me to tell you to write the book," and I was like, "Well, wait a
Yeah.
minute." When
And you gotta
somebody
think
come and
Mm.
about
say
this
that to you,
too.
you start to be like, "What?"
Yeah. And this
So
is
Hmm.
what
that
I
was
would
my
even
reaction to
suggest for the
her.
book, right? Being that you could do the book now, you know, in time. right? The people that you affected, that you've helped, let them tell their story in your book. Let them tell their story on your documentation, on the
Mm-hmm.
documentary. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
now you adding a whole nother level to that type of literature. You know, most self-help books, most from rags to riches type books, don't they talk about who they help, but they never have the people that they actually
That
help
actually
talk
help in the
about them.
book. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So there's so many ways to do it.
So many
And
ways. So
So
many
we
and
just
look,
ways.
we got
so
Vic,
we
who's a
just saw the
mastermind
adulation
too.
a little
So
while ago with the actual clients that Stephanie helped. So we know that's already in order. That's already on deck. So it's after 9 o'clock, and I didn't go crazy on the really really deep questions, but I can't let you go before I give you one.
yeah, at least give her two or three. At least give her
Luck
two or
know how
three.
we get down on the
Yeah, we
You
know how
show.
you
gotta give
get
her at
down.
least two or
I
three,
gotta
brother.
give
At
her at
least two or
least
three.
one joint, like
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Please do.
So I love the fact that you're getting ready to do, and one of your goals is to do an elder care service, right? And have you? Because I believe that that denomination of people deserves a better line of care than they're getting currently. The state of elder care across the country is horrific. Um, have you with PTSD being a thing that a lot of our people suffer with, and a lot of developmental disabilities, things like type 2 diabetes that a lot of seniors would be involved with, and also incontinence. As you're putting
Mm-hmm.
together your platform and your services for your elder care, what type of things, considering these things, what type of services would you specialize in? And did you give these things any thought as you're going to be your own specialty adult care type of service?
Well, currently we actually deal with all of that within our individuals, right? We deal with the
Yo,
constipation, dehydration. We deal with all of it. So within my company, it's a requirement that anyone that has constipation, dehydration, aspiration pneumonia, any of them type of things, incontinence, we put protocols in place.
okay,
So that's what I currently do. I put protocols in place, and then I get the nurses or the doctors to review the protocols that fits the individuals within my company and get them to sign off on it. So I
okay,
would probably follow the same thing if and when opening up the nursing or the adult home, I will follow the same thing. But
hmm
far as what audience, like what where far as what type of seniors or what kind of supports I want to provide, I think I would probably I don't really have any. It's just whoever needs supports. I don't have it whether or
okay,
not they suffering from constipation or dehydration, or I don't have a specified condition that I'm gonna take in.
okay. No, I meant the only reason I asked the question in that way was because I know we have a lot of seniors or people growing into seniors who suffer with some chronic things. You know what I mean? And they
Right.
suffer with chronic type 2, and they suffer with chronic PTSD, and they suffer with chronic, developmental disabilities as they're getting older. And because these things are so chronic, it creates a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was wondering if you ever thought about serving that market, being that that market is so obvious. And you know how they keep folks alive with all type of pharmaceuticals and medicine, but we know people need different than that. We know people need things that are gonna be more holistic in their life than just feeding the beast. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
was
I get
wondering
what
if
you're
you had
saying.
any like out of the box thoughts about what you
I
would
haven't
provide.
yet. No,
Okay.
I haven't yet. I
Okay.
haven't. And that, far as the elderly had just that came about a couple of months ago when I had another young lady that applied to become a sponsor. She actually was doing it herself, and that's how that came about. But I don't have any actual thoughts on which way I want to go, what I want to offer them.
Okay.
After I finish doing this, becoming a herbologist, I don't know if that's something that I'm going to offer because I will definitely have to go through their nurse practitioners as well to ensure that I'm not um giving anything that can cause other side effects.
Right.
So I would definitely and I don't know if I would dig that deep while I'm dealing with the IDDD field because this could be this is a this is enough.
No, I hear you.
To
I
say
hear
the
you.
least.
It could
Yes,
be overwhelming. I
yes,
get it.
this is enough on
I
this
get
end
it.
of
I
the.
get it. I was just thinking about, the way that the landscape for elder care is so very poor. If you walk up in anybody's nursing home or, hospice, or it's just a sad sight. And I
Yep.
would love to see that generation get a little more focus, a little more centering,
Hmm.
and for their quality of life to be better for however long they have left. You know what I'm saying? And I
That's why a lot
noticed,
of people are considering group
right,
homes instead of the nursing homes.
right, right.
And a lot of times the group homes that's for the elderly is not being Medicaid reimbursed. So a lot of this is private pay. So
Mm,
you have to also figure out, okay, well, if I'm gonna, you have to factor in business, right? So if I'm gonna
of
do
course.
this elderly care and the home is gonna be $1,500 a month, and I have to pay a staff or I have to pay a skilled nursing to come in here, you have to
Right,
figure out where the funding is going to come from to do this. Now, some people do charge, private pay at $8,000 a month for an individual, but you're talking about retired doctors, retired lawyers. So you have to also find your audience. Again, you have to find,
right,
that
right.
type of people that can fit within your business.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Love it, man. So we're gonna get ready to end. This was a great episode of the Real HD show. I didn't intend for it to go there, but when we having a higher discussion, we just doing what we doing. You know what I mean? We build into the sky right now. So any other acknowledges, remarks, questions, concerns by the listening audience, by the viewing audience, or anybody on the stage before we get ready to head out? All right, now's the time.
I would just say, oh yeah, you know it is because I just walked in. So I would just say that we would love to have you back because situations grow, things happen, business evolve, and also too, could just have you back on the panel whenever you want to come. There's a welcome mat. If ever you just want to participate in something we're talking about, on that particular night, and we cover various different topics. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. You always got the welcome mat. I don't think
Okay, well,
Vic
I was
mind me
nervous.
saying that.
No, not at
So I
all.
hope I did good because I was nervous. This was my first
Nah,
interview.
you were very informative and you were a great guest, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure we get all your where could they reach you? Where could they find you? They see this interview 2 months down the line and they're really interested and they want your services. Where can they find you? Where can they get in touch with you and get your services?
Ooh, well, they can go to the website at www.putyourwomanfirst.com. They can call me at 646-679-8266. My Facebook is pretty much like a personal Facebook. I don't have like a business. I think the Put Your Woman First, my daughter started one but didn't finish it. I don't have an Instagram. I am on TikTok as Misunderstood New York, but again, that's like a personal, and I do post some business stuff up there. Um, I also do mentorship, and I'm a travel agent. So if anyone's looking to travel, they can find me at put your travel first at no putyourtravelfirst.com. And they can book trips through there as well.
Fire. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, let's give a hand for the multifaceted, multi-talented Steph Grant. Here we go.
I was nervous, y'all. Hopefully I did
You
good.
You
did
did
Nah, you
great.
did
phenomenal.
great.
You did
Thanks for
phenomenal,
having
I
us.
guys.
hopefully I
Thanks,
wasn't
thanks
talking
for.
too fast because sometimes I find myself talking fast. So hopefully I wasn't talking
Nah,
too
you're
fast.
good.
No,
Nah, you're
you did
good.
good.
You did great. You did
You did
great. Thank you for
phenomenal.
coming on, and we appreciate you. And for
Absolutely.
more
Thank you for
information,
having me.
please go to yourwomanfirst.com for more information, and please check out Blessings Beyond Lessons. And for everybody on the Real HD show that watched, participated, gave a comment, saw the show, or was involved with the show tonight, please, blessings, please and thank you for doing that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, comment, and turn on all your notifications so every time we have a Real HD show, you guys can join us and have a higher discussion. For everybody that listened tonight, for Steph Grant and all her people and all her wares, we want to tell y'all peace. and walk with power. We will see y'all on Monday. All right, y'all.
Absolutely. All
Real
right.
HD Show. We're out.